When prices start falling, most people think it is good news. Cheaper food. Cheaper products. A cheaper life. But in reality, falling prices can be one of the most dangerous signals in an economy. When people begin to expect that everything will be cheaper tomorrow, they stop buying today. Why buy a new phone now if it will cost less in a few months? Why invest in a business if the prices of your products keep falling? This is how a dangerous economic spiral begins. Companies start selling less. Profits fall. Layoffs begin. People lose their jobs. And when people lose their income, they spend even less money. This pushes prices down even further. And the cycle repeats itself. This phenomenon is called deflation. Unlike inflation, where prices rise, deflation means a persistent decline in prices across the economy. At first glance, this may sound like good news for consumers. But for the economy as a whole, deflation can be extremely destructive. One of the reasons is debt. When prices and wages fall, debts do not decrease. They stay the same. This means the real burden of debt becomes heavier and heavier. People and businesses must repay money that becomes harder and harder to earn. History shows how dangerous deflation can be. One of the most famous examples is the Great Depression in the United States. After the stock market crash in 1929, the economy began to contract. Prices fell. Banks collapsed. Unemployment rose dramatically. Millions of people lost their jobs. Deflation made the crisis even worse because it encouraged people to hold on to their money and delay spending. Over time, economists began to understand how dangerous this dynamic could be. That is why today most central banks try to avoid deflation at almost any cost. Institutions like the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank usually aim for a small amount of inflation, typically around 2% per year. The reason is simple. A small level of inflation encourages people to spend and invest rather than wait for prices to fall. But economies do not always behave as expected. Sometimes something even stranger happens. Prices begin to rise, while the economy stops growing. Unemployment increases. But prices keep climbing. And when it appears, the usual economic tools suddenly stop working. Economists call this phenomenon stagflation. But that's a story for the next video.